As soon as I got there, boom, got there on a Friday, August 1st, 2014. So you know how you walk in and then you got to go to the laundry, get your stuff, get your mat, get your uniform and stuff. They was like, hey, homie, which one of y'all from Florida? It was a Haitian homie. He's like, man, you got 2 weeks, have your paperwork. I'm like, all right, cool, I have mine coming. So a little bit after that, like I was telling you, they told me, look, go to the chow hall with certified. It was a homie from Jacksonville. I'm like, all right, cool. He worked softball, and he was like, look, you won't have to wait till they say last call. I'll be done keeping the score for softball. Bro, I'm starving. We flew, you know how Con Air worked. We flew from Oklahoma to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Memphis, Tennessee, right? I'm starving. We only ate, you know, they feed you those little cookies and a little bullshit bologna sandwich. Then when we arrived, they gave us a little fish sandwich with some fruit. So I'm like, I'm starving now at this point. So I'm like, man, look, I don't need no babysitter. I'm walking in the chow hall myself. Bro, I walked in there. This when I knew it was real, how segregated it was. So I walked in, it's whites, it's Mexicans to the right. The line short on the right. To the left, it's all blacks. They're segregated, GDs, BDs, Vice Lords, Bloods, Crips. So I went to the right. I'm like, man, all right, I'm gonna go over here and get my tray. And it was so crowded to the left, I didn't know where to sit. So I seen the table open, not knowing it's the Paisa Los Zetas cartel table. So I grab my tray, I walk, I sit down, I'm eating. Prior to me arriving there, there was a race riot, black and Mexican, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm eating, and I look up, I feel somebody hovering over me. I look to the right, he was like, hey homie, where you from? No, he said, hey homie, what's your race? I'm like, I'm black and white. He was like, you need to get up from this table and go over there. I'm like, man, look, I'm gonna finish my food, I'm almost done. But then when he said that, I looked up and I see like 20 eyeballs staring at me. It's like 20 Mexicans just staring at me hard, staring a hole in me. So I'm like, bro, where I need to go? So then I picked up the tray and I went back there. And then now like all the non-gang affiliates from the South, they all sat at one table. So everybody from like Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Virginia, all the way down. They're like, homie, you coming straight off the bus about to start a riot. I'm like, man, I didn't know. However, so they sent me to Inglewood, Colorado for a mental evaluation for beating up an officer in Mobile because the officer was cousins with the rat that set me up. So they sent me to the SHU, bro, for 3 months, took my mat, I'm sleeping on concrete for 3 months, nothing but concrete, because I was exposing the rat that told on me and his cousin worked in there, right? So they're torturing me. So I had to learn how to sleep on my stomach. To this day, I can't even sleep on my side. It fucked up my shoulder and my hip. And the officer like would talk shit. I'll never forget. It was 4th of July, 2013. And you know they give you special meals during the holidays.
Yeah.
Bro, he bucked me. Sleep weight, lose weight. I'm like, man, you're not gonna give me my meal? Bro, they taking me out the cell. They put me in the turtle suit for no reason. Just put me in there just because I was exposing a rat on my case. I'm telling everybody.
Tell them what the turtle suit is.
The turtle suit is where they consider that you're suicidal, right? And when I came in, I wasn't used to going to sleep at night. So I'm sleeping during the day and I'm up at night. So they take notes and they observe, okay, oh, that's suicidal behavior. You stand up all night. So I'm standing up all night and I'm reading the Bible and I go to sleep probably like 4 in the morning and I sleep until like 11, right? That was my routine. I couldn't sleep because I was having withdrawals from taking Molly and drinking lean. So I'm trying to like force myself to sleep. I couldn't adjust easy when I got in there. So now this officer, one particular officer would come on shift and there was a guy in there and he would tell me, he's like, bro, quit exposing these rats that's still on the street. They're gonna put you in the SHU in here because you're exposing an informant that they still using on the street. So I'm like, nah, man, I want everybody to know in here who he is, you know what I mean? So his cousin was on shift and he said something to me. I said, man, your cousin a rat. And bro, the next day, On my birthday, on my 24th birthday, they put me in the shoe for no reason. And they can't explain why they put me in the shoe. They told me because you stand up late at night reading the Bible, and that's suicide behavior. I'm like, how is that suicidal behavior? And then I said, explain to me why I'm standing here so long. They didn't give me the explanation. Bro, get in there. He moved from the pod, the federal pod, and now he working back here where I'm at. So I'm like, man, what type of shit is this? So he comes, every time he on shift, bro, no food. And then when they let me out, straight to the shower, back in the cell. No phone. I try to go to the phone, no phone. I'm like, where's the warden? Let me talk to somebody. I can't talk to nobody. Bro, I was in the shoe so long, I could tell the time from the sun shining in. I could tell from what time it is from the sun, the shadow on the bricks. No cap. And I would tell them they'll come in there like, Luster, what time it is? If you tell us what time it is, we'll give you a sandwich. I'm like, man, look at this. I gotta fucking tell them what time it is to get a fucking sandwich. No commissary, no nothing. So I told the dude one day, bro, I'm so hot after 4th of July. I'm so hot with him, right? I was like, man, I'll beat your bitch ass. I was like, come in this cell without a taser, bro. They're tasering me with the taser shield. Bro, I got tasered like 50 times in there. And he said, tomorrow I'm gonna come in there. I'll give you a fade. That's what you want. I was like, all right. I hit the button. I said, what's up? You gonna come in here? Come in here without your crew. Bro, at this time, I'm like 135 now because they done starved me. I'm like 135. So I already got my mind made up what I'm gonna do. If he do finally come in here, I'm gonna stand up on the bunk and I'm gonna Superman punch him. I'm gonna jump down. Bro, for real, listen, on everything I love. He hit the button. He's like, Luster, what's up? You ready? I'm like, ready for what? I like, you coming in here, don't bring no taser, take your belt off. He did it, right? He came in. So now when he got like real close to the door, I stood up on the bunk. I waited for him to come all the way in. Superman punched him. Boom, I jumped at him, hit him right in this shit. Bro, he fell out, he flew out the cell. Then he hit the code. He hit the code. Officers came in, they tased me, and then they sent me to Inglewood, Colorado. You remember Carmelo Anthony had that party probably like 06 or 07, and that Denver Bronco player got killed, right? You remember that?
I was locked up.
Yeah, Denver Bronco player ended up getting killed at Carmelo party. So when I went to the shoe, they had me in the shoe still in transit, right? So they sent me to Atlanta. I get to Atlanta, the lieutenants was cool. Gucci Man was in there. Gucci Man was in the pod. Bro, he was buying everybody commissary in his pod. So I think he was in C and I was in D. They put me in a pod with nothing but Puerto Ricans, don't speak English, all of them speak Spanish. There's only one brother in there, he was like from Virgin Islands somewhere, but he spoke English and Spanish. So I remember I'm in there. Bro, I've been in the shoe the whole summer of 2013. So I'm seeing videos, I see T.I. Young Thug about the money on the TV, and then they change the channel. So I'm mad. I'm like, man, I want TV. I don't know about the politics. Bro, I went and grabbed the controller. Puerto Ricans like ran down on me speaking in Spanish. I'm like, bro, what they saying? They was like, man, they gonna fuck you up by the TV. So I'm like, I don't got a clue. So I don't got a clue about the politics. So I'm like, bro, what is this? A Spanish unit? And I went and pressed the button, and I'm like, hey, I get the lieutenant to put me in there. I'm like, can you put me in a different pod? They was like, nah, you supposed to be in the shoe. You want to go back to the shoe or you want to stay in here? So I'm like, nah, I'm going to stay in here. So they locked us down, right? When they locked us down, I'm like talking to my cellie. He the only one to speak English. So I'm like, bro, go holler at the shot caller or whoever it is, the Puerto Rican, ask, can I get this TV? And if it get to the point where they giving pushback, tell them I'll pay for it. However much they want, let me use the TV. And you want to holler at them. And I think they was like giving pushback at first. I was like, what they want, some commissary, a radio or something? Let me get the TV until I go. I'll probably be here like a week or two. So he brought him over there to translate. He didn't charge me. He was like, we'll let you use this TV. He was like, but only when some game, soccer game or something come on, let us use it. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I end up just throwing him something just for letting me use it. So I'm watching all the videos and listen to the radio. Gucci getting sentenced while I was there. And I ended up getting to Colorado. They put me back in the shoe. I'm thinking I'm going to go back to population. They put me back in the shoe. They put me in the shoe next to the dude that they accused of killing the Denver player. He been in there 4 years. They trying to get him to fold. So I'm in there rapping. I'm rapping Rich Homie. I'm rapping all the songs that I knew from off the streets, right? And he telling me to shut the fuck up. So he's like, youngster, shut the fuck up. So I'm steady rapping. And you know how they call the cell warriors. So we going at it. So I don't know he Crip, right? And I don't know who he is. So they end up letting him out. They let me out first, they let him out. They put me in the cell with his homie. It was a dude named Roach. He was a Crip. And remind you, this is my first time dealing with being in prison, dealing with politics, right? So we're in Inglewood. Bro, we get there. They just had a riot. This prior before me getting to Memphis, Tennessee. They just had a riot. So I'm in there. They put me in the cell with a Puerto Rican, but I ended up moving in with the black guy named Roach. He ended up hollering at the counselor, get me in there. He was like, you probably want to get in here, we're going to get locked down. He knew all the politics that was about to happen. So this where I sat at the wrong table the first time, and I ended up making the same mistake in Memphis, right? So I'm sitting at this table. The Colorado Mexicans come up to me and was like, hey, what are you? And I'm like, man, I'm black and white. They was like, you need to go talk to him. So I guess he was a shot caller for the blacks, but he was a Crip. I talked to him. He's like, look, you black and white, your dad black? I'm like, yeah. He was like, I'm going to get you out this cell and moved in this cell because we're about to go on lockdown. So he told me the whole play, what's about to happen, and it ended up happening. So a Colorado Mexican about to stab a Paisa Mexican about the tables because they tried to take their table where they eat at, right? And we ended up getting on lockdown. The dude that I was fussing at with in the shoe ended up coming out the shoe. So he sit at the table, but we never seen each other's faces, right? We sit at the table because when we went to, you know, when you're in the shoe, they take you to the rec yard. You go through the little cage. We never went out together, right? So I'm sitting there eating. It was hamburger day, and I didn't have no ketchup, right? And I said, hey, bro, I can get some ketchup? He said, nigga, I know you. I'm like, I set up, I was like, nah. He's like, why you asking me for some ketchup then? So I'm like, all right, bro, cool. Yeah, I don't want your ketchup. So he was like, man, I know your voice. You was that young kid back there rapping all night, staying up all night. He was like, man, what's wrong with you? I was like, man, I was just trying to do my time, man. He was like, he said something else, but then Roach was like, nah, he cool, man. So I had clout because, like, you know, in there, it's be all you can be. You know, a lot of people say what they was doing in the streets, but not many of them show it, right? So I'm showing it. So me and his homeboy ended up getting tight. He was like, man, let the youngster ride, man, let him ride. That's my homeboy. He was like, oh, that's your celly? He was like, he wild. He stayed up all night rapping. He wouldn't go to sleep. I'm like, man, look, I'm trying to adjust to being in here. Y'all been in here for a long time. I can't sleep at night. I sleep like 3 in the morning. I go to sleep 4 in the morning. It was like that for a whole year. I couldn't sleep. I was buying like 14 honey buns a week, eating 2 honey buns. I wake up out of my sleep and eat a honey bun. Then I realized I was starting to put on a belly, and I ended up going in like a depression cave. I'm in there. I'm like, man, it's hard to adjust because I'm calling to the streets. I'm hearing about what's going on. I'm like, man, all right, I got to disconnect from the streets, stop calling, and focus on becoming a better version of myself, right? So when I seen that little taste of the feds and then they sent me back to get sentenced, then I went to Memphis, I started working out with a workout crew. But the gangs ran the weights there. You couldn't just go pick up the weights and start lifting. They had Smith machines in Memphis. So I ended up hollering at my boy. He ended up, me and him becoming tight. His name was Rashad. And he worked out with the crew. And the shot caller of that workout crew had 2 life sentences plus 10 years. But I didn't know, right? So he was like, bro, if I let you in, I got to check your paperwork. And then, all them don't have to see it. Long as I see it and I let them know, then you can come work out with us. Because he approached me originally asking me about the promotion game. I'm like, bro, I'll give you the promotion game, club promotion game, if you let me work out with you guys. Boom, I get down with them, start working out. The only time he talked to me like, hey, what's up, youngster? He was like, look, you know, I take my workout crew serious. You quit 1 rep, you can't come back. You don't show up one time, Monday through Friday, you can't come back. I'm like, all right, I'm down. Bro, they pushed me so hard, I didn't know if I had to shit or throw up. I wanted to quit. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to quit. And just that seed he planted, like of commitment, it just changed my mindset. I realized, okay, I could push beyond my limits of what I think my body can do. You know what I mean? And I worked out with them for like 6, 7 months. But I got sent to that medium high because I beat up the officer. I didn't get charged, but they put it on my record, my prison record. Mm-hmm. So it made my points increase because I was a nonviolent offender. So when I got there, right, I was in a 3-man cell and they had 2-man cells. So I'm trying to finesse and get a 2-man cell so I can get the cell phone, you know what I mean? And it was a GD that I'm hollering at trying to get in the cell with him. And like, they'll do their background on you. They got certain officers that'll show them, tell you stuff about you, you know what I mean? So he was like, bro, why you here? You not a gangbanger? Bro, it was every cell gangbanging. The first cell they put me in, right? I remember I came out the bus. They locked me in the cell. They put me in the cell with 2 Crips. Between both of them, they had 30 years. And it was like 40 years old and 50 years old. And they didn't say a word to me. I went in there, the top bunk in Memphis, I hit my head for like 8 days straight when I got up, boom, hit my head on the roof. I had to get used to like just going like this and then getting off. And when they locked me down for the first time with both of them, I remember Trey Loke was sitting with his headphones on, watching TV. They did the count. The other homie, he was sitting in the middle bunk. He slid out. Trey Loke turned around, took his headphones off. Say, homie, what you banging? I'm like, man, what you mean what I'm banging? I'm like, bro, I'm from Florida. I don't bang. I'm a hustler. He was like, this is a Loke house. So I'm already getting the vibe that they basically saying I got to go, right? I'm not knowing the celly before me was a homie from Florida, so they don't like dudes from Florida. He got into it with my homie Certified, the one I told you I was supposed to go to the chow hall with. So, and I don't know that he was about to stab my homie. So I'm thinking like, damn, why didn't they tell me anything? I'm in the blind, right? So they start asking me questions, stuff like that. They was like, go holler at your homie Certified. He'll probably put you on game. He was like, then I went to holler at him. He's like, he told you that? He's like, yeah. He's like, man, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I came off the bus, I got into it with him. I'm like, bro, why you ain't tell me? You got me going in here. I'm in the blind, you know what I mean? So I end up moving cells. And then I want to get in a 2-man cell, and I told the GD, he was like, he asked me why I was at a medium high if I'm a nonviolent offender. And I told him, man, look, I beat up an officer. He like, you cap. He went and asked the lady, he was like, man, you crazy. You did beat up an officer. It's in the paperwork. I'm like, yeah. So I end up moving in the cell with him. Then Texas came and got me. Remind you, remember in the beginning, I told you, they told me that Texas still gonna try me on the charges. I get over there, they come pick me up. Bro, it's 2 guys, they pilots and officers. They came pick me up in the Camry from federal prison, put me in the Camry, handcuffs, went and got on this small propeller jet. I'm scared to death because we just watched a documentary with Aaliyah the day before they picked me up. That small propeller jet, it looked exactly like it. So we get on this jet, it's like a 6-man, and they were like, oh, you were a drug trafficker. Hey, and I'm like, oh, what does that got to do with anything? They just want to start a conversation. So I said, it looked like y'all took this plane, this propeller jet from a drug trafficker. It was like, you're pretty close. We seized money and we bought it from an auction. We seized money from the cartel and bought it from an auction. So I ended up getting to Beaumont, Texas, Jefferson County. That's where I had the state case, right? So I'm in there, and they got hella politicking going on in there as well, gangbanging. And there's no structure, so they just wild, they disrespectful. And it's open bay, right? I ended up getting on a fight in there. But I got sentenced to 20 years. I went to trial, lost in trial, sentenced to 20 years, sent me back to Memphis, had to show that I got sentenced, you know what I mean? So show all the paperwork that's where I went. Get back, then I was transferred for good behavior after being in Memphis for a year to Miami. Got to Miami, no politicking, right? So I'm telling my cellies, like, look, I want to see your work. And I'm like, man, they not even showing paperwork. But the chomos, all them, they protected down there. If you do anything, you press up on anybody, you going back to the medium high. You know what I mean? So I get there, and I went to the yard. I said I want to work out with the toughest workout crew. They sent me to this guy named Wild Bill. Wild Bill had the toughest workout crew. He had a life sentence. He was stabbing people. He had a reputation of putting fear into people, right? But he ended up getting his case overturned. He had like 25 years. He had already been down like 18. I went up to him. He said, Youngster, you ain't ready for this. You too light-skinned. You gonna quit. You gonna give up. I'm like, man, you ain't even give me a chance. Remind you, I've been working out like 6 months, so I thought I was like, you know what I mean, tough on that level. So he was like, look, I'm gonna test drive you right now. Bro, it's like 150 people watching because everybody's scared to work out with him and commit to him. He only had like 6 people working out with him. And he was like, here you go, 315. I'm like, no warm up? I'm like, hold on, let me stretch or something, do some push-ups or something. So remind you, I'm using Smith machines. I'm not used to free weights. So I got 315, I almost got it. And he's like, your triceps gave out. He's like, 275. I'm like, I don't get no break. He's like, yeah, that's how we roll. Your break is the person in front of you. So if you're in the front, you're not getting a break. I'm like, all right, got the 275. I hit it 3 reps. He's like, nah, 255. So all the weights is welded on. You know what I mean? You can't take the plates off.
Pig iron.
Yeah. So he's like, now from the 275, 255, 225. He take me through this crazy circuit, right? And he said, you pass. Monday, show up. And I was like, all right. So I ended up becoming the leader of the car. Like, you know, in there, if you outwork somebody when working out, they call it, you drop them off, right? So every Monday, everybody get in each other's face. You call out who you want to lift against. Then on Friday, you lift. So it was a lot of guys, like, wasn't nobody in North Florida standing up to the guys in South Florida. So I was the only one. So it got to a point where all these guys calling me out, like in your weight range, right? Weight class. I'm dropping off everybody that called me out, right? So then I end up getting the second strongest in my workout crew. When I started, I was like the 4th or 5th. And I told Wild Bill, I'm gunning for you. You getting old. You 62 now. So then like the last couple workouts before he left, he went to the drug program. I dropped him off one time. And he had to make a decision who he's going to give the keys to the car to. And he gave it to me. I became the leader of the workout crew. That's when I knew I found my passion for fitness. And I knew, okay, this is my outlet to change, right? I'm going to become a certified trainer. And I'm going to get out. I'm going to stick to my path. And while I was in there, so I ended up getting caught with a cell phone. I stayed at that prison 2 years. They sent me back to a medium, sent me to South Carolina. Straight gangbanging there. And as soon as I arrived on the yard, it's like 150 homies from Florida, and they bullying. They get into it with the Crips. They get into it with the GDs. And I holler at the shot caller. I'm like, bro, here go my work. He was like, I already know you. And they already heard about me in the system from working out. So now they coming up to me wanting to work out with me. So I'm like, man, this is my calling. So I had a broke foot. So I'm in the building. I broke my foot in transit. I don't know if you know, if you got a medical condition in transit, they put a hold on you. So I didn't go to the nurse. I got a broke foot the entire time. Bro, we in Atlanta. You been to Atlanta holdover?
No, I didn't get to go to Atlanta.
Bro, it's wild. So they put me in a cell with a homie that had like 18, he been down like 18 years. And the homies got into it, the homies from Florida got into it with the guys from Atlanta. And a dude from Atlanta stole, one of my homies from Jacksonville stole his commissary. So the homie from Jacksonville walking around, going in the Serenio cells, getting into it with Serenios, he's like, man, y'all seen who stole my commissary? So now I had size on me, right? And he come looking for me because I'm from North Florida to ride with him. But bro, I got like 10 months left. I'm trying to parole out when I get to Texas. I'm trying to go through here without no beef, you know what I mean? And there's this Jamaican that came in for a fraud case, and while we was in transit in Oklahoma, the homie told me to take care of him. So I'm already looking after him because he fresh, he don't know nothing. He don't got a clue. It's like I'm babysitting him, right? So I'm on the phone. Bro, you gotta wait literally like an hour to an hour and a half to use the phone in Atlanta. So he came up to me while I'm on the phone. I done already waited an hour and a half. He like, hey, Jacksonville want you. So I'm like, man, tell him I'm on the phone. Not knowing that he want me to ride with him to who stole his commissary. Of course, but now I got a broke foot, you know what I mean? But I'm on the phone. So while I'm on the phone, all I hear is somebody hollering. Bro, he took the squingy, you know, the squingy stick. He took the squingy stick and hit the two Atlanta dudes up across the head with it. Then it broke, and then he's still taking the broke part, and he kind of like trying to stab him with the broken wooden part, right? So now I'm here in lockdown. I'm still not getting off the phone. I don't know what happened, right? So I'm still on the phone. Officer come hang up my phone call. And end up getting to the cell. They tell me what happened. They like, man, he came up here looking for you. Just so happened, but I was on the phone. Now we get locked down. Now we got beef with Atlanta, right? So we in there. My cellie, he's so dumb. Like, bro, he been locked up 18 years. He go smoke some Tunchi with the guys from Atlanta, and they laced him up. Now he tripping, about to jump off the top tier. We get in the cell, locked down. He throwing water out the toilet, having a whole episode. And, bro, it's like I'm babysitting him. But from there, before that happened, how I broke my foot, I'm in Miami, the Haitians and the Puerto Ricans. It was a Puerto Rican. He could say he can jump rope, out jump rope everybody. He out jump rope one of the Haitian guys. I'm laying in the bunk. I don't gamble. I stopped gambling because I caught the OGs doing the little tricks. You know how they be cheating with the poker? Taking the needle and marking the cards with a needle.
Yeah, until you know which card you're holding. Yeah.
Exactly. So I caught them doing that, and I stopped playing poker, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to stop gambling too. They finessing, they cheating. I ain't about to play with these people about my money. And the Haitians told the Puerto Ricans, let's bet 500 my homeboy can out jump this guy. So they come up here, they waking me up like, hey, KI, we just betted on you. I said, how y'all gonna bet on me? And I ain't even agree. They was like, nah, come get this. It's gonna be free cash. I know you can beat them. So get down there. Bro, I don't got no shoes. I'm in transit, right? So I didn't buy any because I'm gonna get my shoes when I get to the next prison. So they like, what size you wear? Bro, they give me some shoes. They too tight. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna jump rope in the slides. I end up taking off the slides. I'm just jump roping in socks. He went first. It was like 5 rounds. He went first. I went first. And then I did everything he did plus more, right? And then I started trying to show out, and I was going so fast, my sock slid off, and the jump rope went between my pinky toe, and I cracked the top of my foot. And, bro, I'm taking the ibuprofen, because I don't want to stay in the building long. I want to get to the next prison. I get to South Carolina, go to the nurse. I got a broken foot. They put me in a boot. A riot happened with Florida and the Crips. I took the boot off. I'm like, man, I'm not about to be a walking duck. I got to take the boot off. We got beef. So now my foot, like, basically just didn't heal properly. So I'm working out, had a workout crew there. And that's when I became a certified personal trainer, that's when I knew, okay, my mindset changed. I wasn't thinking about the streets no more. I wasn't thinking irrationally no more. I was thinking rationally, okay, here's my plan. I started studying this guy. His name was Con Body. And I told the officer, like, print up everything on Google about this guy, right? He did time in Rikers Island, and he ended up getting out as a trainer and changing his life. So I seen a Men's Health magazine, and his story was in it. So it was inspiring to me. I'm like, man, if he can change, that was his exit route, that could be mine too, you know what I mean? So then I ended up getting to Texas, and I got another Omen. I seen him on the Rachel show. I'm like, man, this man, he took it all the way through fitness and came out of prison, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, that gave me confidence that I can do it. Even though I knew that I had to be mentally prepared to be rejected, right? So I ended up getting out. I paroled out in the state of Texas with a parole attorney. I ended up not having to go to prison, but I did a year in the county jail after the 5 years in federal prison. Paroled out. They didn't allow me to go back to Florida. So I had to start my life over in Beaumont, Texas, a city where I had the high profile case, so I knew I wasn't going to get an opportunity.
So what'd they do at the 20?
I'm on parole still. I got like 12, 13 years right now.
Oh, shit.
So, bro, they let me out. I get to the halfway house. Bro, it's guys openly get on the phone. Hey, I'm calling to register. I'm like, man, what? Everybody sex offenders. I'm like, and then they talking about the case in front of me. I'm like, man, I got to get out of here. And, bro, I'm riding my bike. I'm going everywhere in Texas, in Beaumont, to apply for a job. I'm going to all these gyms. And when I go in there, I present all my documents. I meet all the requirements, right? I give them my certification. All of them told me no. And I was straightforward with my story. I'm like, look, I made some bad decisions when I was younger. However, I changed my life. Hey, just give me an opportunity. I guarantee I won't blow it. Nobody gave me an opportunity because when they Googled my name, that high-speed chase showed up, right? So my whole mindset was, okay, how can I change the narrative of my story? But I just need the opportunity. So it got discouraging. At the time, I was a pescatarian. So my backup plan, okay, if nobody hires me at a gym, I'm going to get a job at a restaurant so I can stick to my diet and stay in shape. Bro, I was riding like 6 miles a day, 7 miles a day on a bike just to work. So I'm losing all my muscle mass. I'm like so discouraged. It's going through my head like, man, you can make one phone call and get back right. You know what I mean? But I thought about all them times I was jumping on the rec yard, jumping rope, barbed wire fence, because I did majority of my time on the rec yard. I was like just straight working out. And I thought about how many nights I prayed for this opportunity. I'm not going to blow it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to persevere through these hard times, and I know somebody going to give me a shot. Bro, I'm a server. I'm serving at Golden Corral. I hated the job so bad. I was making probably like 80 to 120 a day from tips. And just one day, I just quit. And I had a dream. God gave me a dream to go become a member at the gym you want to be a trainer at, right? Exogen Health and Fitness Club. The owner that gave me an opportunity, he's featured in the Forbes article that my story is in with me, right? So I went in there. I created my my corporation, Streets to Fitness, created my Instagram, Streets to Fitness, and I was working out, filming, I was training someone, and I seen somebody watching me. You know, when you're in prison, your awareness level is top tier. So when I got out, my awareness level was still like on prison time. So I'm watching everybody in the gym. It's a huge gym, like 11,000 members. So I see a guy in a suit standing behind the Stairmaster. He's watching me. Just so happened, he's the owner. The fitness director told the owner that I was in the gym training and I'm not a trainer there. So I'm about to do my first post on Instagram, my second post. And I'm sitting at the table in the front lobby and a guy says, hey, Kipp, can you come to my office real quick? I'm like, man, how do you know me? You know what I mean? And I just turned in my second application. And the lady, the membership coordinator said, I'll put it in the right man's hand that can give you a job. So he's calling me in his office to confront me about training in his gym. I apologized respectfully, and I told him my story, and it brought tears to his eyes. Just so happened, God works in mysterious ways. He does prison ministry in the prisons in Texas. He was like, look, I'm going to give you an opportunity. He was like, I'm going to hire you at my Nederland location. I don't know the area in Texas. I'm living in Beaumont, bro. I moved out the halfway house into a hood in South Park off of Highland Avenue. It's straight trenches. And remind you, I grew up in a hood in Florida. So my PO at the halfway house told me, look, you're not going to get an apartment anywhere but the hood, so you better off staying in here. I didn't want to stay in there because they were taking my food. I was buying fish to stick to my diet. They were taking my food. You couldn't have food in the halfway house. So they forced me to eat foods that I didn't want to eat, and they wouldn't allow me to go to any more gyms to fill out applications. So now he gives me the job. Bro, the bike ride like an hour on the highway to go to the job. So now I'm catching Uber. My Uber costs more than my paychecks that I was getting at first, because you get commission, you got to get clientele. So I'm so discouraged. I'm like, man, this might not be my calling. This might not be the right route for me. You know what I mean? And I changed my mindset. Okay, look, I used to hang out on the block when I was young. I used to mingle and I used to hustle, right? So I got to go on this gym floor and make myself the product. I got to sell myself. I'm in shape. I know I can get clients. I just got to get a few clients and get a transformation, right? And all the gym members are going to see it. So get a client, got a transformation. Now other clients coming to me. Start talking to guys on the gym floor. I made it like the prison workout yard. Everybody knows all the guys that work out in prison. So it's like a community. So I put my mindset, okay, I'm still in prison, but I'm going to be respectful, friendly, just like prison, respect everything all around you, right? I'm doing that same mentality in the gym. And I'm gravitating to people, talking to them every day. I'm picking up all the weights and I'm holding conversation with guys. Hey, I'm gonna let you train my wife. Got his wife results. They tell their friend, word of mouth, right? So I'm like, okay, now it's working for me. I already have experience in sales. Man, listen, not to glorify my past, you know what I mean, as a drug dealer, but you gotta have experience in sales. It's not as easy as people think it is, you know what I mean? So I ended up starting closing packages, training packages. I ended up breaking all the records that stood there at that gym since 1993. And the Forbes publisher reached out to me to shine light on my story and to shine light on Mr. Travis Duggar for giving a convicted felon an opportunity, right? So then that same news, 12 News, they featured me on the news there showing my redemption story. Remind you, 4 years, in 2015, they put me on the news for me getting sentenced to 20 years. So it's like, okay, now I'm changing the narrative of my story, right? But I went through that phase of being discouraged, but I persevered. And that perseverance, that seed planted from those guys that had life sentences, right? They pushed me. Before I left Memphis, Tennessee, right? The guy that I worked out with that had 2 life sentences plus 10 years, he never talked to me outside of us working out. When we seen each other on the compound walking, he would just be like, "What's up, youngster?" The day he found out that I was leaving, I guess he had a bond with me from working out and pushing. He seen my mindset. We were in the barbershop. I'll never forget it. He's like, "Youngster, look, I've seen several guys your age with short sentences, 5 to 10 years, come in here, get out, and don't change. Put your plan together and execute your plan when you get out. Don't get out there freestyling trying to put a plan together after you get out." And I took heed to that, right? That was like a GPS for me, and it was in the back of my mind when I arrived to my next prison in Miami and South Carolina. I was working on my plan. So when my story was featured in Forbes, and then after that, like, bro, I had 100 clients. And then that was pre-pandemic. Pandemic hit, I still had 50 clients coming. I was training like 20, 30 nurses. I was training people from all walks of life. CEOs, nurses, people that work at the oil refineries. And I met a lot of great guys that became my friends as well that invest in my company as well. But then after that, I ended up moving back to Florida. I met Lil Pump's manager, Lil Terrio. I ended up helping Lil Terrio lose over 100 pounds, was featured in TMZ with him, went on No Jumper with him. I ended up helping Lil Pump get his life together, got a transformation in a short amount of time. And it's hard to get a celebrity a transformation because you know their busy schedule. But every time he called me and asked me, "Hey, Kipp, can I eat this?" I'd tell him, and we got results. And besides, then I end up moving to LA, to Calabasas. I came over here for my birthday, and I stopped by George Foreman's gym. And I ended up talking to him. A few months later, he was looking for a weight loss specialist. So now I'm over there training. I got my one-on-one online coaching. And also I created Streets to Fitness Youth Empowerment Organization. I go to juvenile detention centers and I talk to the youth. I tell them my story. I created a curriculum and a daily planner, a workout they can do while they're in there so they can work on their physical, mental, and spiritual and emotional health. You know what I mean? Like, I found an outlet through structure. In prison, when you create a routine, that takes discipline and consistency in order to get results. And to have discipline and consistency while in there, it's hard. It's not easy as people think it is. A lot of people that haven't been on the inside, they think, okay, you have nothing but time. There's guys that sit in front of the TV and just watch TV, sports betting, and eat. And they're in a depression cave. And same as people that's free, they're in their own prison in depression cave. They commit time to Netflix, eat, get off work, eat, and they don't realize they're in an unhealthy matrix depression cave because they're satisfying that emotional depression because they're becoming emotional eaters, right? I watch a lot of guys, bro. When people watch Love and Hip Hop and they sitting there eating belly like this, I'm working out, walking the top tier, 1,000 push-ups, 500 dips on the corner of the tier, because that was in South Carolina. They didn't have weights, bro. I wasn't sitting in front of the TV just consuming content on TV. I was reading self-help books. I was reading the Bible. How can I change myself? I was asking in Miami, right? There was high-profile guys that were featured on American Greed. I would gravitate to them and ask them, hey, look, I'll tell them my story, and I would gain knowledge from them, have them mentor me, and I train them. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff that I learned from them and the books that they gave me to read changed my life. So it was like mental, physical, and emotional structure. It was like one guy told me, he was like, how does a table stay stable? It has 4 legs. Humans have 4 legs as well, pillars. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. He was like, if 1 is off or 2 is off, you're unbalanced. That changed my mindset. And when I started dialing on all 4, planted 4 seeds, and I watered all those seeds each and every day, I realized I changed. I realized I had grown and I've evolved to a different person from the 6 years that I did from 23 to 29. They let me out 2 weeks before I turned 30.
Damn, man. That's a hell of a story, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. That's an inspiration to anybody that's a young person out there that is caught up in the drug life, you know, using drugs, selling drugs, or that doesn't really have any direction. You know, a lot of people, like you said, I used to see it all the time. I'd come from the law library because I just worked out and I studied a lot. And I would come in and it'd be like 3 TVs on cops and everybody be sitting there eating a bowl of top ramen, like watching TV. I couldn't believe it. Like, damn, these
Bro,
dudes.
I was addicted to the nacho bowls. I didn't get abs until I cut out the nacho bowls and the top ramen noodles.
Yeah.
And I condone Cali Muscle, right? He was glorifying that lifestyle that was in jail, but now he's shedding light on, look, that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
my awareness level, like I used to watch guys when they did Med-Call, all these guys, what they were eating. I'm like, man, I don't want to be in my 20s or 30s going to Med-Call. I want to preserve myself. I used to watch what they eat, and now the people that's not, when they say Med-Call that's not going, I'm watching what they're eating.
Well, even look on the street though, like you said. I mean, you got people out here on the street, man. I mean, I drive by like some of the fast food, dude. The line be outside on the street.
Crazy.
You know, people, and then people talking about they complain, oh my health, and they want you to feel sorry for them. You're doing it to yourself.
Right.
You can't feel sorry for something
You
you're doing.
sabotage
You
yourself.
sabotage yourself. So you got to have discipline, and that's one thing. You know, whenever I get in a dark place on the street, I go back to like, okay, this ain't really that dark. I know some places where it's horrible.
Right.
You know, I'm dealing with some shit. So I reflect on that, not to brag on it, but to find strength to pull me out of places on the street, because sometimes you know, you look at this and people think, oh, this ain't shit. This is opportunity, and it's all on how you look at your situation and what you do and what you make from it, what you do with it. And yeah, bro, you took it to another level, man. So, you know, I think it's important that your message is out there, and that, you know, people, you know, look and see what you've done for yourself from somebody, dude, you, like you said, no male figure, you know, your mom, you know, not having a family support, you know, dude, that's a lot of stacks, and you're not sitting here crying victim.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing I'm about when I bring people on this platform, is not crying victim, because like, I'm not sitting here, I'm 3-time felon. I spent over a decade of my life, but I'm not here, oh, the government, man. Oh, man, white supremacy. Oh, it's some bullshit.
Right.
It's some straight bullshit. You know what I mean?
is.
You can get out here and do whatever you want, and you're a perfect example. So I thank you, man, for coming on the platform, man, sharing your channel, you know, and sharing your information, giving people an opportunity to tap in with your social media. We're going to have all that in the links. And, dude, you're opening up eyes and showing that if you can do it, you know, next man, what's his excuse?
Right. No
Ain't
excuse.
There ain't no excuse.
No
Dude, you grew
excuse.
up, I mean, what's your excuse for real?
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, oh man, it's rough out here. I know some dude, I said, dude, you ain't never been locked up.
Right.
You ain't never had handcuffs. You're complaining about, oh, it's hard. What are you talking about?
Bro, I was locked up in 8 states. 8 states.
Man,
But-
it's just a lot of weak people, a lot of entitled, a lot of people think that they got something coming and they ain't got shit coming, man.
Right.
But you know, your story, like I said, it's going to change lives, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to get you on the show, bro, because this thing's going to go viral.
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate you giving me your platform to share my story.
Yeah, there you have it. Big Herc 916 getting down fresh out in Kipp.